While we have seen many incredible new beasts introduced in the Fantastic Beasts franchise, there still remain several amazing beings and creatures from the original Harry Potter universe that many of us have grown to appreciate. Two standout creatures for me are Centaurs and Hippogriffs. Now, although the two species are noticeably different to each other, Centaurs being human-like and having superior intelligence in comparison to the Hippogriff's bird-like nature, both creatures really did have standout moments throughout the Harry Potter story, and in today's video, I'll be analysing and explaining the origins, history, and behavioural mannerisms of both creatures. I'll begin with the explanation of Centaurs, and then conclude the video with the same concept applied to the Hippogriff. With that being said, everyone, welcome back to the world of Harry Potter, and please, don't forget, enjoy today's video. Okay everyone, as I've said in the video's introduction, I'm going to begin with the history of Centaurs, so let's get started. Centaurs are magical creatures whose head, arms and torso appear to be human, or at least human-like, while the lower half is that of a horse's body. Centaurs are their own individual species, and despite confusion amongst those in the magical community, are not half-breeds in any way, shape or form. It's unknown how the species was actually created, as they share body parts from two established creatures, therefore evolving naturally doesn't seem fitting. It's assumed by many that Centaurs originated from magical experimental breeding. They are also fully conscious, mentally aware, can speak and learn just as humans can, and are actually believed to share a very similar level of intelligence to humans. However, despite this high intelligence level, the British Ministry of Magic, as arrogant and sectarian as ever, would not acknowledge this and still recognise Centaurs as a lower level creature of near human intelligence in comparison to humans in general. The ministry did however offer the species the choice to change their status from beast to being in the year 1811, as the term being was now described as any creature that has sufficient intelligence to understand the laws of the magical community and to bear part of the responsibility in shaping those laws. But due to vampires and hags sharing such a title, the Centaurs were not willing to be put in the same category as these dark creatures. Like horses, Centaurs can be born in a number of colours, ranging from deep black to white. A centaur by the name of Firenze, probably the best known of the species from the books, has white blonde hair, a body light in colour, and possessed incredible blue piercing eyes. However, another centaur, Megorian on the other hand, possessed black hair and was chestnut in colour. Centaurs, as I've mentioned, have the body of a horse and the torso, arms and head of a human. They are extremely similar and in some cases even more beautiful in appearance than humans. Students such as Lavender Brown and Parvati Patil found Firenze very physically attractive. Centaurs are not very pleased to be insulted, particularly where their lineage is concerned, as Dolores Umbridge found out to her cost. They are also natural born seers, as Firenze taught alongside Sybil Trelawney in divination class at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The Centaurs of the Forbidden Forest regularly made vague allusions to seeing the future, as when Firenze told Harry Potter that they were fated to meet again, and also when he and Bane spoke of the intermission of sorts between the First and Second Wizarding Wars. He also mentioned to his class at Hogwarts that his species spend years trying to master the particular art of divination, divining the fates, as its unpredictability makes the practice quite deceptive. They also seem to be rather proud of their species in general, which was evident in their asperity when anyone even accidentally alluded them to being used or in any way employed by humankind. We've seen clear examples of this when Firenze was berated by his brethren for allowing Harry Potter to ride to safety on his back after the young wizard encountered Lord Voldemort in the Forbidden Forest, perceiving it as lowering his standards to that of a common mule. Firenze's relationship with his herd became so tense and stressed that they actually attempted to murder him after his acceptance of the role of divination professor at Hogwarts. The herd deemed that entering into human servitude was the greatest insult to their species, and Firenze was deemed as nothing more than a traitor, especially using something that they value as highly as divination and teaching it to humans. Centaurs also had no interest in any kind of technology. Their tools and weapons were quite basic, with their most threatening artillery being simple bows and arrows. They favoured their connection with nature over anything, interpreting and reading the signs at every opportunity. While they agreed to live on ministry-designated land within the Dark Forest, the ministry's continuing condensing of their territory had caused increased frustration and tension on the herd's behalf. Even Hagrid, normally welcomed by so many due to his gentle nature and appreciation of all creatures, was informed he was no longer considered a friend of the Centaurs, as he, in their eyes, forfeited his friendship due to his mismanagement of his half-brother, Gorp. Despite their somewhat aggressive nature, Centaurs do have a sense of honour and dignity. They are unwilling to harm the young, for example. We see this when the herd within the Forbidden Forest refused to harm Hagrid due to the young Harry Potter and Hermione Granger accompanying him at the time. However, as we've previously seen with Gorp the Giant, this patience and generosity can wane. It reached its limitations when they immediately became aware of Harry and Hermione deliberately leading Dolores Umbridge into the forest to use the Centaurs to eradicate her. This act, in addition to the fact that both teenagers are nearing their adulthood, led the herd to attempt to attack the two. As you can all see, Centaurs are by no means a near-human intelligence creature. They share so many traits and qualities with humans and appear to be on a very similar level with human ideologies, but also, in addition to that, they are still magical creatures. They are highly experienced and equipped in magical healing, divination and astronomy, and have even been known to perform feats of non-verbal magic. Such is the level of their skill. While the Ministry did not recognise Centaurs as being on an intellectual par to humans, they did acknowledge that the Centaurs had an above standard level of intelligence. They even had a Centaur liaison office situated within the Ministry for a Centaur representative to use, though the office has remained empty since its construction. There is a running joke amongst Ministry officials that to be sent to the Centaur liaison office means one is about to lose their job. Centaurs are definitely unique individuals. I feel like the Centaurs should be classed the same way that the term human is. Their skill and level of intelligence should not be based on a comparison to humans. They remain one of the most underrated creatures of the wizarding world. Hippogriffs, like Centaurs, are magical beasts that are a combination of two different established species. The Hippogriff has the front legs, wings and head of a giant eagle, and the body, hind legs and tail of a horse. It's unknown how Hippogriffs originated in terms of how they are bred. It is possible that experimental breeding could be the source, however the practice is frowned upon for creating more dangerous creatures than manageable ones. In fact, the breeding of Hippogriffs today is considered a career by many magizoologists, as it takes a lot of time and effort to master. The initial reaction of seeing a Hippogriff for the first time is normally one of shock, as it really does appear as a giant eagle from the front, which can be quite intimidating. However, it is stated that once you get over the initial shock of seeing something that's half horse, half bird, you start to appreciate the Hippogriff's utter beauty, especially how it changes smoothly from feathers to horsehair. Hippogriffs are carnivorous and extremely dangerous until tamed, which should only be attempted by a trained witch or wizard. The diet of a hippogriff consists mainly of insects, birds and small mammals such as ferrets. They will sometimes paw around the ground for worms if no other food is readily available. When breeding, hippogriffs build nests on the ground and lay only a single and quite fragile egg. The egg usually hatches in 24 hours, an unusually short incubational period, and when hatched, infant hippogriffs are capable of flight within a week, but it takes many months before they are strong enough to accompany their parents on long journeys. When humans approach hippogriffs, a proper éthique must be maintained to avoid danger. Hippogriffs are intensely proud creatures, and an individual must show proper respect by bowing to them and waiting for them to bow in return before approaching. Eye contact should be maintained at all times, without a single blink. The hippogriff should be allowed to make the first move, as this is polite. If offended, it may attack. It's important to note that although initially aggressive and proud, hippogriffs can also be fiercely loyal and very protective of those who have earned their trust. Owning a hippogriff has certain requirements also. By law, a disillusionment charm must be cast daily over the creature to avoid being seen by muggles. The most notable hippogriff, and basically the only hippogriff with a developed story from the Harry Potter books, is that of Buckbeak. Buckbeak was part of the Hogwarts herd that were tended to by Hagrid. He was part of Hagrid's first Care of Magical Creatures lesson and had a fantastic first experience with Harry, as the boy adhered to all appropriate measures to gain the creature's trust. However, a jealous Draco Malfoy, who basically did the complete opposite of everything Harry did, greatly insulted Buckbeak and received a nasty scratch on his arm for his reckless behaviour. The hippogriff was sentenced to death for the act and narrowly escaped thanks to Hermione Granger's time turner. The less said about those objects the better. He came into the possession of Sirius Black afterwards and had a fruitful relationship with the wizard. After acquiring Buckbeak through Sirius's will after he died, Harry decided to leave the beast with Hagrid at Hogwarts, where it currently resides. And with that being said, everyone, that is my explanation on centaurs and hippogriffs. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, remember to be happy, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever, so please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do, it's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content, so if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDNJ and on Twitter at Folklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.